Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Tori, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. I'm so excited for today's episode because wedding season is in full swing, and who would I be if I didn't do a story episode all about crazy wedding things that have happened, whether it's a bridezilla or some sort of wedding crash out situation. We're going to be talking about it today. So before I jump in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, all the fun things. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to leave a rating and a review, and I'll see you guys in like 0.2 seconds. I'm Grace Tori, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Alrighty, so we're starting out with one that is on the shorter side, I think, but it's pretty juicy, and it is an Am I the A-hole? So, am I the A-hole for not going to my friend's wedding, quote unquote, after what she said to me? A few months ago, a friend of mine told me she was getting married. It wasn't meant to be a regular wedding, but more of an elopement kind of thing. It was supposed to just be her, the groom, me as the maid of honor, and a best man, plus a few close family members. About 10 people in total, and it was planned for early November. I say wedding like that in the title because it will be no invites, no save the date, no ceremony, no walk down the aisle, just courthouse and dinner, and that comes from the bride herself. I'm not guessing that. A few weeks ago, I got the news that I had gotten a permanent job. I don't know how to explain it because this is a very typical thing from my country, which is Spain, where every so often the government will hire professionals to work either in the administration or in public institutions, such as education, more specifically high school, and so on. This is usually a great opportunity because these positions are for life, or at least until you retire, and they can't ever fire you. In order to apply for these positions, you have to take an exam, and then depending on your years of service to the institution and the score you get on the exam, you can get one of these jobs. Long story short, I took my exam last year, and last week I got told that I got one of the jobs, but I will be moving cities for that. When I told my friend this, the only thing she said is, "When are you leaving? Can you still come to my wedding?" And there was no congratulations, no I'm happy for you, nothing. I must add, 2 weeks ago I talked to her to know where we were having dinner for her wedding, and she said she still didn't have anything planned yet, let alone booked. Had she told me she had everything booked and that she really needed my RSVP, I would have understood her answer, but in that context, I've decided that if the only thing she cares about is her and her wedding, and she can't be happy for me, I'm not going to the wedding. Am I the a-hole? There's a few things here I want to talk about. The first being, what were the intentions behind her saying that? Because it almost sounds like you are judging her based on that one sentence, and like you're upset that the first thing that came out of her mouth wasn't congratulations. Like, did she bring it up later? Also, I don't think that she was necessarily coming from a selfish place. Like, she could have been saying that out of the point of view from, I love you, you're one of the closest people in my life, and I would love for you to be there for a special moment. Like, it's not about RSVPing and making sure that everything is good and, like, you know, she's not going to have to eat the cost if you don't show up. I don't think it's that at all. I think it genuinely is, like, this is coming up. It's on her mind. It's a big, big moment for her. Not saying that your job isn't also a big moment, but I think that she's justified in having that worry. Should it have been the first thing that came out of her mouth? Maybe not. But I think that it's a little bit hypocritical for you to say, why isn't she happy for me? Everything is all about her, and you're not acknowledging the wedding as well. If it were me, if I were in this situation, I would have told her, and I would have said, but also, this means I can't go to the wedding, or also I can't go to the wedding, because when my best friend got married, she didn't make everything about the wedding, but I know I did, because I was a good, like, I feel like as a, like, good friend, I know this is taking up your entire life, I know this is consuming you, whether it's an elopement or a big wedding, so, like, I would, like, say to her, like, oh, I'm doing this, but don't worry, it's not going to affect, like, your bachelor party or your wedding or anything. Like, that whole period of time was about the wedding, and I wanted it that way. So, I think that should everyone, like, be self-obsessed with their wedding and everything's about their wedding? Absolutely not, but I also think that to say, like, she's not happy for me just because the first thing that she said was, well, I really hope that you're still going to be at something that is really important to me, is a bit skewed. I think there's a lack of communication here, and you definitely should talk to her more. Like, absolutely nothing wrong with saying, hey, why, like, this moment was about me and you made it about you. I'm hurt by this. Can we talk about it more? Like, where did this come from? Versus, like, just writing it off and being like, I'm not going because she said this. Like, that's petty. Unfortunately, there's the good petty and the not so good petty. This falls under not so good petty. So a little bit of communication goes a long way, and you'll, like, by talking to her and coming at it from an honest and, like, sincere place, you're gonna find out her true intentions and also your own. Like, if you're being mean to her, then maybe she doesn't want you at the wedding. Like, if you're coming at it and you're like, well, because you said this, like, I'm out, and you don't give her a chance, like, I don't know. There's too many different ways this could go. So I think you're the a-hole, and Reddit agrees, but I think you can redeem yourself if you talk it out. Like, if you don't go simply because of what she said, yeah, you're the a-hole. But if you talk it out, there's room for growth here. This one is a bit long, like a long one, but it's so crazy that I felt like we had to include it. Invited to a wedding, but there's a huge catch, and I'm in utter shock. I posted this elsewhere on Reddit, but I was asked by many people to share it here. I'm literally in a state of shock. I've done the crying thing, and now I'm just angry. I was so happy to see a wedding invitation in my mailbox. I pulled it out, and a little note fell out on an index card, but I looked at the invitation first. It was truly beautiful, and I immediately stuck it on my fridge like the work of art it was. It was addressed to my husband and me, and I was beyond stoked. I love weddings. I tend to get teary-eyed and smile until my face hurts at the joy of new beginnings and all the love. I was even a wedding singer. That's how much I love them. I also love weddings. I totally get that. I picked up the note card and read that, and while my husband was invited, I'd be in another room helping to babysit all the children there with several other female invitees. There's a special room for children at the church, and that's where I'd be. For everything. I'd still need to dress for a wedding in case I wind up in any photos, but I'd be taking my reception meal with the children, and I'd be with all the kids for the ceremony. Then there was a link for their gift registry. This is insane. Like, guys, I don't understand why you can't either make it a childless wedding, or you can't, like, have the parents watch the kids. Anyway, let's keep reading. Oh, and the meals for my husband and myself would also be $100 each, and we have a link to pay it when we digitally RSVP. And it costs money to RSVP on the website they've chosen. Absolutely not. The first problem here is that I'm disabled at 50 years old. Legally. I use oxygen. I use a walker when I need to walk long distances. I sometimes have to give up the walker entirely and use a wheelchair. I'm not proud of it, but there it is. I could happily sit in a room and look at kids, but I'd be pretty useless to prevent a fall or stop a child from choking or anything else that would require me to move quickly. Ooh, bestie. That's not, like, I have family members who are in the same boat and they have a lot of health problems. And not only does it take such a huge toll on you physically, but mentally, you have, like, this, you just feel like a burden to everybody already. I don't know. This stresses me out. Like, I don't like this. I don't like the direction this is going. Second, my husband isn't the one who has been friends with these people since childhood. I am. Why would he be invited to watch the ceremony and be a part of the reception, but not me? My husband said he'd happily watch the kids and let me attend the wedding and reception, but the invitation specifically said that only other female invitees would be watching the kids. So I doubt they'd let him. Ooh, don't like that. It's just, I mean, I feel like no one should have to watch the kids. Is that crazy? Is that a hot take? Like, as in, no one but the parents, or they outside hire a babysitter and pay them. Like, they're literally asking her to pay to come and babysit. When have you ever had to pay to babysit? Continuing. It's just the pure audacity for me. They expect me to not only pay for a meal that I have to eat while watching kids, but also get them a gift and dress up just in case I happen to be captured in photos. I know them because the bride's mom and I were besties growing up. Our mothers were the very best of friends, and it made us become like sisters. Our birthdays are 4 days apart in the same year. We've been friends our entire lives. We went to school together, graduated together, and got married in the same year. The bride is like an unofficial goddaughter for us, and we've been there for all her big milestones. She even met her fiancé at a cookout at our house. We're related to the groom via marriage. So, this is a big old slap in the face. I don't even know what to think. Same girl, I'm with you on that. We're all American. They've rented a Southern Baptist church, but none of us are overly religious, so that isn't the reason for this. It's not a cultural thing. It's just a tacky thing. I don't even know how to process all of this. I'm angry and sad and feel disrespected and just ugh. I was gonna say I grew up in a Southern Baptist church and like went to a Southern Baptist high school, and it is very, very on par for them to expect females to babysit and do it out of the kindness of their heart and sacrifice going to a wedding for everybody else's well-being and kindness. Like, that is a very much on par with the Southern Baptist thing. Not my dog having a whole moment over there. But if they're not very religious and they aren't like active in the church, I don't know. That is like just tacky. There's multiple updates. Let's start with the first one. Update. I spoke to my friend, the mother of the bride, and I'm pretty upset. I've been bawling for most of the day. She called and said that we were getting a lot of backlash from the wedding guests. No one wants to pay $100 for dinner, and only 3 of the women that were asked were okay with babysitting. I told her I understood the guests that were upset because it's just tacky to ask to pay and be told you are invited but only to babysit. I told her I would not be a babysitter at all. Nope, just no. I agree. The way that I see it is like the cost of your gift, not that cost is a huge thing, but when you're sitting there looking at the cost of a gift and if you have to pay for like travel or anything like that, it should be the amount of like a really nice wedding gift, because weddings are expensive and the cost of someone to attend is expensive. Like, your plate alone is expensive. But there are like exceptions. Like, if you can't afford a really nice gift, that's fine. Like, my best friend's wedding was in Vegas. That was very expensive, and I had just graduated from grad school, so I had like no money. But the cost of like that and the bachelorette party was a lot. So she was very understanding with like gifts and things like that, because that alone was like over $1,000 just to be there. So I think that that's something you should factor in, like where you're at in life, but don't just get like a cheap gift and show up. Like, in my opinion, that's tacky. Like, you should get a nice wedding gift, and then you shouldn't ever, ever ask to be paid or have to pay to go to a wedding. Obviously, like the hotel and unspoken things like that, yes, but like to go to the wedding or paying for your plate, absolutely not. Never. That is very like tacky, and no. Like, if you can't afford to pay for everybody's plate, then just like don't. Period. You don't have to have food, like you should, because that's like the quote-unquote typical wedding tradition. But it's your wedding, you can do whatever you want, and if you can't afford that, you can't afford that. Like, have little finger foods, have some lemonade, don't invite as many people. But you should never, ever, ever, ever make the guests pay for their dinner. Also, the whole making them babysit, again, no. Hire a babysitter or tell them it's a child-free wedding. Period. My sister had a child-free wedding, except for the exception of, like, the flower girl and the ring bearer, which is my stepbrother. I can't remember. I think he was the ring bearer. It was like a while ago now. And they were allowed to come to the reception and everything, and they did, but they ended up leaving because they were kids. They were like 4 and 5, so they were tired. But yeah, I'm a big fan of a child-free wedding, unless it's only like a couple kids that are well behaved. But that would solve all these problems. You wouldn't have to pay for a babysitter, and then you'd be good. Like, and that would put on the parents, like, paying for a babysitter, but again, that's kind of an unspoken thing. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Let's continue reading. She, as in the mother of the bride, got mad and brought up how we were lifelong friends. She said I'd be helping them more by She said I'd be helping them more by babysitting than I'd be helping by simply sitting in a pew watching. I reminded her that I couldn't physically help at all due to, being legally disabled. She said they completely understood that and expected me to simply, quote-unquote, supervise the other sitters since they trusted me the most. Again, I told her that I felt it was insulting to be voluntold that I'd be babysitting and that I had no desire to do that, especially not dressed in formal wear. Very valid. Then we got the truth. She said that she didn't know if I'd be in a wheelchair that day or require a walker. That's fair. I don't always know which one I'll need. She said that they wanted everyone in pews for the wedding video, and me sitting in a wheelchair would make me stick out and ruin all the videos and photos. I said, if I need a wheelchair that day, then I can move to a pew, and my husband can put the wheelchair in another room or back in our car. I may not even need it that day. Then she says, well, space is limited in the pews. You would take up the space of 2 people with your purse and oxygen tank. I said, no, I would not. I wouldn't bring a purse in, and the oxygen tank either fits on my lap or between my feet. It's like a little backpack. Then she said, well, having you in oxygen in the photos would be distracting from the other people. Girly. It's like I said, people who have a lot of health problems like this typically already feel like they're a burden, and they're very self-conscious, and like, speaking from my family members that I've spoken to about this, they feel that way, and they get very, very stressed that they are causing problems for other people. So to validate that, when that shouldn't be a problem at all, like, you shouldn't tell someone, like, you're a burden because you have to have an oxygen tank. I'm sorry, you're what? Like, that's absolutely horrible, and it validates her underlying insecurities. So, ew. Anyway, and there you have it. Words were exchanged, and she hung up on me. I haven't been removed from any social media yet, but I fully expect to be. I already feel awful for being this way at only 50 years old. I didn't choose this. I didn't want this. If she thinks it's awful to be having it photographed, just imagine living with it, which is what I told her before she hung up on me. I'm devastated. Just devastated. Update 2. I'm not in the greatest headspace. I didn't think I'd ever been less okay, honestly. I did not register to RSVP or communicate with them further until another invitee got in touch with me and said that the mother of the bride, a person I thought of as basically my sister, was bad-mouthing me into the ground. I explained my side, and our mutual friend was livid. They told the mother of the bride and the bride that they were wrong to want to exclude me because I might or might not need a wheelchair and would have an oxygen on my face. I could remove the oxygen for photos, they told her. So the mother of the bride sent me a message saying, and I quote, well, if you're going to be butthurt about the aesthetic we want to achieve and try to turn other guests against us, then you can effing come and sit in the pew. But not in photos, and we'll try to get the videographer to do edits to the wedding video too. But I won't forget how you made this difficult for us. I replied, how did I make it difficult other than existing? She replied, you clearly told so-and-so about what I told you regarding your wheelchair and oxygen, and she's telling everyone else. We're getting a ton of hate. Oh no, Bestie's getting hate mail? Oh no. No, I'm kidding. You shouldn't be, like, mean. But, I mean, if you want to call out some bad behavior, that's different. So, what does she define as hate? Continuing. I said, she asked me if I was attending and I told her no and explained why. I didn't lie to her. I told her exactly what you said. You didn't tell me not to tell anyone your reasons. If they're valid reasons to you, then you shouldn't care who knows. So, I'm now blocked. By the bride, the mom, the dad, and the groom. A friendship I've had my entire life is over. A goddaughter that I helped nurture and care for is just gone now. We paid for the bride's car insurance, gas, and cell phone all through high school and college because we wanted her to focus on her studies and not a part-time job. Her parents got her a car but insisted she work, but her grades fell when she did, and we helped her. And this is how they thank us. This is how they repay our kindness. I guess I'm a great friend when I'm giving money, but I'm not good enough to be seen. I felt like a burden my whole life, and this has sent me back so far. I'm just not okay. See, that's awful. Like, even if they were to continue with the whole babysitter plan, they definitely shouldn't. Like, these people should be family, and family should be excluded from, like, that. Like, why don't they even want her there? That's my thing, is, like, why don't they want her there? Like, saying, you would be more helpful to me doing this. Like, yeah, but she wants to be there. She wants to celebrate this moment because they're family with the groom, and she's, like, helped the bride so much and known her entire life. Like, crazy. Crazy. Here's another update. The wedding was today, 11/16/24. Friends rented a big cabin venue about 20 minutes from the wedding venue, and everyone who was offended over being asked to pay at the reception and babysit or serve the food, yes, several people got invitations telling them they were invited, but would be serving food at the reception they paid to eat at. Oh my god. Got together at the cabin. Me included. I was on the fence about going because I really didn't want to sit there and talk about everything and rehash it, but that wasn't my experience at all. I had a truly lovely time. My husband and I even danced to our wedding song. And I had mixed drinks. Quite a few, so forgive me if this has typos. 2 of the bridesmaids opted out of the wedding over mistreatment, and, without anyone knowing, they sent letters to all the guests who have been invited to tell them what went down with me and the others being asked to be babysit or be servers. Those guests were given the address of the cabin. They were the 2 bridesmaids who addressed all the envelopes and still had the guest list from what they told me. Anyway, we had a great time. There were about 80 of us before all was said and done. though I didn't take a head count. It was packed. Several went to the wedding but didn't attend the reception. They refused to pay for their meal and came to our get-together instead, including the 2 bridesmaids who told me all about what I was being called and the story of how I was trying to ruin their wedding because I was jealous of their good health. Ooh, 80 people is crazy. Y'all, I love karma. Anyway, the bridesmaids who backed out of the wedding due to bridezilla behavior were posting a ton of pics of us all dancing and eating. We all chipped in money weeks ago for catering and booze, and was seen by my ex-bestie because she unblocked me. I unblocked her weeks ago in the hope that she would come around, as much as I loathe to admit it, and called me to tell me off again. I told her I didn't plan the alternate reception, but I was invited and came because they didn't care about my health or me ruining any photos, and just cared about me having a good time. Period. Apparently the wedding was quote-unquote ruined because of me. They had invited hundreds of people and the church wasn't even halfway full, and the reception had less than 30 people, so that's $3,000 the guests paid, when the food and liquor cost around $15, and now it's my fault they're eating that cost now. Oh boy, the narcissistic trait of shifting blame on someone else instead of taking responsibility for your own actions. Continuing. They likened me to the Antichrist and the devil and claimed I had to be possessed to do this to a young girl and the groom when he's a member of my family. I said I didn't do anything. I told the truth, and if the truth hurts you, then maybe you were wrong to do it. Did you ever consider that? She hung up on me and started calling others and demanding the address so they could come to the actual reception. No one gave it to her. I just got home at 11 p.m. It was a great day. I laughed. I even felt up to dancing a little. I had good news. I don't even need my oxygen all the time now, and just at night via CPAP or after exercise, and I've been going to the pool and doing senior aquatics as much as I can, and it's helped so much with my breathing and my mobility. I can walk around the whole grocery store now without needing to sit down on my walker. I still use the walker for long periods due to dizziness from Meniere's disease. I think that's how you pronounce it. But I think I'm doing better. At least I'm trying. I feel very proud of myself, friends. That's awesome. I love this for you. Anyway, the wedding still happened, but they didn't have the numbers they expected, and I've heard that someone suggested they donate the excess food instead of throwing it away, but they didn't. Which sucks because I know that firemen or police or the hospital or the homeless shelter would have been so happy to get it. I think I'm doing better mentally after today because everyone who talked to me told me it was wrong to exclude me because of my wheelchair or oxygen. I did have my walker with me today, but not my wheelchair or an oxygen tube. I had it in my car just in case I needed it, and there were a couple of times I could have used it, but I was determined not to be in any pics with it out of pure spite. I also wore the pretty dress I bought for the wedding and had many compliments. I'm still hurt and angry and miss having that closeness with their family, but I'm going to be okay. Final update. I got a call today from a mutual friend. She warned me that the bride and her mother are lawyer shopping to find representation. Big word. To sue me into oblivion for this post, the abysmal attendance at the wedding, and for the alternative reception party that I attended the day of the wedding. Mind you, I simply told the truth when asked why I wasn't going to the wedding. And I did not plan the party that happened on the same day of the wedding. Another friend planned that party, and I simply attended it. I had zero part in the planning of that party or the invitations that were sent out. I have the invitation to the party I received as evidence of that, as well as text exchanges between myself and the bride's family full of threats and the reason I was uninvited laid out in black and white. I also have the text from the friends who actually planned the party. If I'm sued, I will counter-sue for libel, defamation, threats, and harassment. I did nothing wrong, and I would love to go to court to prove that. So, what a roller coaster of emotions. Insane. Clearly, we have the craziest bride and her family on our hands, but nice. Let's do one more. And then if you want me to do like a part 2, just let me know, and I definitely will. Am I the a-hole for starting my wedding ceremony before my mom showed up? The day of the wedding started out as they normally do. I, the bride, was inside getting ready, and final touches were being made outside. After I was almost ready by noon, my mom had to run back to the hotel 20 minutes away to change and come back with my grandma and family friend. The invitation said ceremonies at 2. Per usual, we were a little late starting, but nothing crazy. Next thing I know, I'm walking down the aisle with no mom, grandma, or family friend in sight. The ceremony continues, and it's over before we know it. Still nothing. After 45 minutes, finally, they pull up. Then I proceed to go and tell them it's over and that they missed it and that 2 meant 2. My mother immediately became hostile and proceeded to blame the bakery for not having buns ready, then said they were stopped by a train, and my personal favorite was, "It's your fault you didn't call or text me where we are." Excuse me? Again, the invitation said 2. Also note the officiant also had another wedding to get to after mine, so it was a tight schedule. So am I the asshole for not holding up my ceremony? Side note, I found out the real reason why they were late. She wasn't done getting herself ready before holding up everyone. But she is mad at me because it's my fault. No, you are not the a-hole at all. I get it. My grandma and my mom, I love them to death, but they are very late to things usually. But I don't think that they would ever in a million years be late to my wedding, like ever. And I think that that's a respect thing. Especially if it's at 2, like some weddings are at like 10 in the morning. I'm not sure like what duty she had, but she should have had better time management skills. Like especially like, I mean, if they left at like 1:30 to get ready, that's one thing. And I think that that's something that should have been planned ahead of time. And if they didn't have time to go back and get ready, they should have brought everything to the venue and done it in the bridal suite. But I think that as long as it was planned well and you didn't give them like unclear instructions or like unfair expectations where you had them working up until 1:30 or something like that and then expected them to turn around, then that would be like the only case where I'd be like, okay, you're the a-hole. But yeah, out of respect for you, out of love for you, I think that like my family would literally be ready at like 8 a.m. so that they could help set up everything. And I hate to compare, but I feel like, I mean, I'm blessed to have like a mom and a grandma that way, but I feel like that should be like a standard. Like they should be very, very considerate because you're hopefully like only having one marriage, and that day should be like all about you and like your time. Like time management is essential in weddings. It's so, so important. So yeah, you're not the a-hole. They definitely need to get it together, and in the future I would tell them an hour earlier. Solves the problem. I've done it before. It solves the problem without anybody getting too angry because they're going to show up 45 minutes late anyway. And it's kind of crazy that your mom would almost rather her makeup look good than be there for your wedding. Like, it just is like a blatant disrespect for you and your time and a moment that you're not going to ever be able to, like, redo. Like, you don't just re-get married or re-have a wedding. So, yeah, that is today's podcast episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want me to do more crazy wedding stories, definitely let me know. I have so many in the doc ready to go, and I love them, especially during wedding season. I've been diving into wedding stories, eating them up. Like, I don't know, just something about this time of year. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I upload every single Sunday. One day I'll get back to doing Wednesdays and Sundays, but not yet. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all those fun things. If you watched all the way through, then comment a white heart in the comments if you can, if you're on a platform where you can. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next podcast episode. Bye, guys.